have your block or book nearby. And it's up to you. We're going to pause for a moment like we do at the start of each of the classes just to arrive into the practice. So you can sit onto your block if you want to, or you can just be sitting on the ground and just find a comfortable seat. And then let the spine be nice and long. Let the palms be facing down if your mind is busy, facing up if you're looking to take in fresh energy today. Okay, so just see what feels best. And then while we're here, I tend to have a habit of letting the belly drop forward or the pelvic bowl tilt forward. I want you to practice drawing the belly lightly in towards the spine, which almost feels like the pelvic bowl is tilting back. And then sit up really tall through the center of your body. Ribs are drawn in towards each other. And then just soften the shoulders, and from there, close your eyes. And just start to slow down the thoughts. We're going to be here just for a moment. And I want you to feel the control lightly from the belly, that upright feeling through the spine, and that feeling of a slightly open chest, shoulders drawing down the back away from the ears, a feeling of power in the center of your body, but a sense of ease around being there. The most efficient way for us to sit with all of these different parts just lightly engaged. And as you close the eyes and start to clear your mind, just soften the space in between the eyebrows and around the edges of the eyes. And just take a nice long, deep inhale. Grow a little bit taller through the length of the spine, keeping that sense of power in the middle of your body. More space arriving into the chest, the lungs, the ribs moving. And then let the exhale either come through the nose or the mouth as you prefer. And with every inhale that you take, just become a little more focused on just the inhale, how it feels, where you expand, where you feel like you can relax into it a little bit more. And then as you exhale, just letting go of any effort. And we're taking 3 more rounds of breath, just like this. Every inhale, a little bit more fine-tuning, a little more awareness, a little bit more relaxation and ease and space. And every breath out, just coming back to center. 2 more rounds of breath, just like this, just arriving. And then when the second breath is finished, just slowly start to open the eyes. And as you open the eyes, just notice how you feel. Just that moment of pausing, 5 breaths, giving you a moment to reset. And then once you've checked in with how you're feeling, if you used your block to sit on, just take it from underneath your hips and place it next to you on the ground. And then go ahead and lie yourself down. And we're going to start a little bit with a pelvic bowl and glute reset. And then we'll start to move a little, okay? So just take the feet to the ground, knees bent, and place your block or book in between your thighs. And that might mean that you have to shuffle your feet a little closer to each other here as well. And then palms of your hands are going to push into the ground, and your upper back is staying on the floor, your shoulders as well. And push into the feet, just slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, begin to lift your lower back and hips and bottom from the ground, okay? Squeeze the block into the inner thighs, and this is strengthening inner thighs, but if you were to lift your fingers and touch the outer buttocks, you'll feel the glutes firing up here as well. Stay here for another breath. Not back bending, just lifting hips. And then just as slowly as you lifted, resist the temptation to rush, go vertebrae by vertebrae down. So it's a little bit more deeper core control as you lower down, and a little bit more effort for the glutes. And then push into the feet, vertebrae by vertebrae, begin to lift yourself up. Okay, so the block, we're using it just to remind us how it feels to fire up these muscles. It gives us a little bit of an extra helping hand. And then vertebrae by vertebrae, as you breathe out, just slowly roll yourself down with control. So you'll feel a little bit of power in the inner thighs, a little burn in the glutes. And then last time here, just slowly starting to curl up vertebrae by vertebrae, lifting up those hips, pushing into the hands, nice and strong, taking your time. Nice, and then just slowly release down to the ground. And just release the block for a moment. Place the block to one of the sides of your mats. Bring the soles of the feet together, knees drop out. Just a breath as you inhale and exhale here, releasing a little of the effort through the inner thighs. And then place the hands down. Now push down through the outsides of the feet and lift the buttocks up once again. Legs stay wide though. So this is also glute muscles working. There are 3 glutes that work together and against each other to stabilize the hips and movement of the femur bone. So we're just switching each of those groups on. And then just slowly start to lower yourself down. Okay, 2 of the glutes work together to help us to move the legs into the center of the body, and one of them helps us to take the leg away from center and extend it backwards. So let's push into the outside edges of the feet, lift up through the hips, legs stay wide. This is our second round. And this is working glute maximus, the bigger one of the 3. In fact, the biggest, strongest muscle in the body. And then just slowly lower yourself down. And these muscles get incredibly weak from all of the sitting that we do. Push down through the feet, last time here, lifting. And I like to really isolate these muscles before we start to flow so that you feel the muscles firing up as we move. And then when we're using them in the practice, you'll be aware of when they're on or off. And then just slowly start to lower the bottom down. Bring the knees back in together, okay? And then we're going to go one more time. So block comes back in between the thighs. Slightly different this time. Push into the feet, squeeze the block, vertebrae by vertebrae, lifting up. And then just slowly extend right leg out. Toes point towards you, push through the right heel. Try and keep those sticky out bones on the front of the hips in line with each other if you can. Okay, and that's going to really work hamstrings and glute. In fact, if you were to touch the hamstrings, the back of the left leg, it is fairly solid right now. And then place right foot down. Push into right foot, extend left leg away. Keep those ASIS joint bones on the front of the hips lifted and in line with each other. Right hamstring, glutes, pretty strong. Foot comes down, one more time each side. Push into left foot, extend right leg. And this is pretty nice for the quads as well. A lot of support for the lower back here too. Nice, and then right foot down, left leg extends. The whole practice will flow more than this. So if you tuned in and you're starting to wish you hadn't, don't panic, it's going to move soon. And then slowly left foot down. Keep the hips lifted, take a big breath in. Big breath out. And then lower yourself down vertebrae by vertebrae and release the block. We'll use the block later. Hug the knees into the chest and just gently take hold of the ankles as you extend the legs away, or maybe even the back of the thighs, and just start to rock and roll yourself back and forth along the spine. A little bit of momentum. And then eventually come on up to a seat. And then over onto your shins and tops of your feet. Have the block handy, maybe nearby. And your hips stay above your knees, okay? You're going to extend your right leg out to the side of the room. And as you inhale, let's sweep left arm up to the sky. And as you exhale, just stretch out side body here. Take a nice big breath, and you're getting into the tissues in the side stomach, armpit area here as well. And just notice how it feels to create a little bit of space. One more breath here. Nice, and then take the hand down to the ground, a little bit different. Lift up the leg, straighten the leg, and you're pushing away through the heel. And you'll want to lift the other arm up to the sky. And as you do that extension of the leg, point the toes towards you. Okay, and that's going to be working that outer glute here as well. Take a nice big breath. And then point the toes away and just start to draw 2, 3, let's say 3 circles forwards with the toes. Okay, and when you've done 3 forwards, 3 backwards. And when you've done 3 backwards, foot comes down, lift yourself back up and switch legs. Okay, simple as that. Taking your left leg away now. Inhale, right hand up to the sky. Exhale, sliding and leaning over to the other direction. This side is always tighter for me, so just check in with how it feels for you. Side body opening, nice and light through the hand on the leg. So much space to find. And these are muscles that get really tight from sitting down and not doing so much movement as well. And let's slowly take the hand down to the ground, reaching left leg up and away, parallel to the ground, other hand up to the sky. And you're pointing the toes towards you for a moment. Hips are on top of each other, belly's nice and strong. Take a big breath here. Really getting familiar with how it feels to reach away with that heel. And then point the toes. 3 little circles forwards. 3 little circles back, as big or small as you can manage. And when the 3rd circle backwards is finished, gently with control from center, lift yourself back up, bend the knee, foot, knee, hands down to the ground, tabletop position. Spread the fingers nice and wide, and as you inhale, let's just mobilize the spine, belly forward, chest forward, tailbone lifting. And as you breathe out, push the ground away, round through the spine, find that space through the back body. 3 more rounds like this. Inhaling, gaze forward. Exhaling, gaze towards your belly. 2 more rounds. Just mobilizing through the spine, using the hands to push the ground away as we exhale, creating that separation of the shoulder blades, awareness of space. Last breath. And then when you have exhaled for the last time and moved in the last time here, just come back in to neutral. So keep the hands where they are, extend right leg out now, and just slowly start to lift the leg to be parallel to the floor. Okay, and really push away through the heel. Same thing again, toes towards you. Try not to let your belly drop down, really be firm in the center of your body. Okay, and then push into the top of the left foot, reach left hand forward. And this is really a nice way to strengthen through the back line of the whole of the body, upper back included, as well as lower back. And notice how it feels through the outer right hip here. Take another big breath. Nice. And then place left hand down, tuck left toes under, lift the knee, hover left knee from the floor. So now we add core in. And then start to take it back up to 3-legged downward dog. Okay, so really keep the hips in line with each other. Keep pushing through that right heel. 1 long line of energy from the fingers and the hands, strengthening through the back of that leg. Take another breath here. Feel the power in the whole of the back of that right leg as you stretch out back of left leg. And then come forward, lower the knee to hover above the floor, right leg parallel to the ground. And then lower the foot to the ground and the knee, come onto the top of the foot. Left hand forward again. Back where we started almost. Make sure belly didn't drop like mine. And then exhale, elbow, knee, forehead into center. Inhale, nice and strong, reaching away. Keep that belly in check. Exhale, elbow, knee into center. And inhale, push away through right heel. 1 more time. Exhale, elbow, knee, forehead into middle. Inhale, nice and long. Put left hand down, bend right knee, foot flex, lifting up to the sky, and just pulse 5 times, little bit of a lift. Make sure belly stays where it is so you're not back bending while you're doing it. 3, 2, 1. And then draw the right knee forward, place the foot between the hands, sink into the hips, lift the fingers up to the sky. Okay, sink down nice and low. Stretching out through the front of left hip. Shoulders draw down the back, belly's drawn in, fingers strong. Sink down a little bit more, take a nice big breath here. And then place left hand down, twist, right hand up to the sky, shoulder draws back. Make it nice and effortsome, so you're pushing through left hand, and as you exhale, right ribs, chest and shoulder lift up and around. And then pick up left foot, squeeze left heel, drawing heel towards the bottom, so you're working with hamstrings and glutes a little here as well. Okay, and then reach right hand towards the back of the room, but you're not touching the foot. All of the effort's coming from the muscles on the back of that left leg to draw the heel closer to the bottom. Take another big breath here. Nice, and then place the hands to the ground, tuck left toes, lift the knee, step it back, downward facing dog. Big, big breath here. And then inhale, come forward to plank. Shoulders above the wrist, heels reach back, nice and strong in the leg. So even here, You can work with strengthening back line of the body and glutes. Imagine you're squeezing a block in between the thighs. Keep that power in the legs every time we're here. Chaturanga. And then all the way down. Come onto the top of the feet. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the hands. And now lift the kneecaps and lift the feet. Imagine you're squeezing a block in between the thighs and you're using your glutes and hamstrings and the whole of the back line of the body here as well. Take another big breath. And then lower yourself down, rest for a moment. One more like that. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the knees, lift the feet. Interlace the fingers behind the back if you can. Otherwise, come to where you were before. Gazes down or just to the top of the mat. Lifting up through the legs. Strengthening back line of the body. One more breath. And then release the hands next to the chest. Hug toes. Lift back up to plank. And then lower the knees down to the ground, tabletop position. Okay, so hands stay where they are. Extend left leg back. Okay, get strong in the top of the foot and then lift up left leg. Heel reaches back, toes towards you. Check in with belly so it's not dropping down. And then take right hand and reach it forward. Nothing more than this, just strengthening through the back line of the body. Keep pushing away with that left heel, keep reaching forward with right hand. Nice big breaths. Gaze is just down, stabilizing that central core support for the spine, as well as the connection points for the hips. Big breath. And then take right hand down, tuck right toes under, and just lift right knee an inch from the floor. Keep reaching left leg back. And then slowly start to lift up, three-legged downward dog. And check under the hips, make sure the hips are in line with each other. Reach through the left heel, long straight line. Hamstrings, glutes working hard, hands pushing, ground away. And as you're lifting up through the back of left leg, right heel's pushing down. Take a nice big breath here. And then slowly come forward as if you were coming to plank. Bend that right knee, hover foot above the floor. And then lower knee, come onto the top of the foot. Reach right hand forward. Okay, check in with belly, make sure it's strong and engaged. Exhale, elbow, knee, forehead into center. And then just to slowly come out nice and long. Exhale, elbow, knee, forehead into center. Inhale, push through left heel, belly strong, right hand forward. One more time. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, power. Right hand down, bend left knee, foot flexed, and pulse 5 times. Okay, keep that belly strong, no back bending, just the leg is moving. 3, 2, 1. Look forward, step left foot forward, sink into right knee, push down through top of right foot, and steady yourself as you lift up through the hands. Sinking into the hips, belly draws in and away from the thighs, fingers nice and strong. Okay, sinking down. Now the job of these muscles is to stabilize our hips. And it's also the connection point of upper and lower body. So really, really important that these muscles remember how to fire up and that we try to remind ourselves to move every day, even if it's getting up from our desk for a few minutes to walk around the office or wherever we're working from. Taking right hand down, twist, left hand up to the sky, left shoulder, ribs and chest draw back. Taking your time. And then just slowly start to pick up right foot. You're drawing right heel towards your bottom, okay? And really engage through the back of the leg here. You'll feel a bit of stretch through the front of the right hip. Reach left hand around towards the back of the room. Squeezing, squeezing, heel, lots of effort through the back of that leg. Take another big breath here. And then slowly release hand, release foot. Step forward to the top of the mat, forward fold. Big inhale and exhale, just dangling, releasing through the back line of the legs. And then inhale, halfway lift, spine long. Gaze down. Exhale, forward fold. Again, we come back into releasing through the back of the legs. And if these areas of the glutes are tight, sometimes that can restrict the amount we can forward fold as well. So enjoy that little stretch for a moment. Okay, and then inhale. I know it's mean, but we're coming into chair pose. So Belly drawn in, tailbone lightly down, thighs squeezing in towards each other here. Take a nice big breath, okay? And then push into the feet, just slowly come to stand up tall. Lean back, lift up with the sternum and heart, big breath. And then hands come into heart center, Samastiti, okay? So getting used to that lifting of the chest and then drawing back to center, everything strong. Inhale, fingers reach up. Exhale, forward fold, stretching back of the legs. Inhale, halfway lift, strengthening back. Forward fold, stretching again. Inhale, chair pose. Fingers lift up to the sky. Ribs in line with each other, belly strong, tailbone down. Take a nice big breath. And then just slowly start to lower yourself down towards your heels. And as soon as you get to the point where you want to switch off and relax, come back up to chair. 3 more of those. Exhale slowly down. And when you feel like you're going to relax, inhale, back up to chair. We're halfway there. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lifting. Last time, exhale, lower. Inhale, lifting, and it's a white lie because there's one more, but this time we're staying down. So lower yourself down. Bring the bottom to the ground. Extend left leg up to the sky. Take hold of it with your foot, with your hand rather. And then take right hand forward, okay? Keep holding left leg, lift back. Can you reach right foot and shin to be parallel to the ground? Take a nice big breath here, okay? Nice. And then put right foot on the floor, reach the hands forwards, lower yourself down to the ground, grab your block, place it under your right foot, hands flat to the ground, okay? And as you inhale, push into the right foot, lift the left leg high, make sure those 2 bones, ASIS, on the front of your hips are in line with each other. And just pulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, hips are in line, 8, 9, 10, stay lifted, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, lower the bottom down, fingers reach forward, kick the block just to the side, foot to the floor, and then with the strength of your belly and a little momentum, come back up to where you were, okay? And then slowly, left foot down, reach right foot up, right hand holds the leg up. Belly draws in, ribs in line. Take a nice big breath here. And then just slowly lean back, belly strong. Lift left foot so the shin comes to be parallel from the floor. Collarbone broad, chest open. Nice big breath. Okay, and then lower left foot, release right leg, hands forwards. Roll yourself down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Take the block under left foot. Okay, palms to the ground. Push into left foot and block, lift up with right leg. ASIS, hips in line, reaching through the right heel, strong through the back of the legs. Block adds a little challenge. Exhale, pulse, little dips. 2, 3, up and down, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then stay at the top, keep reaching through right heel. Lifting up, pushing ground away with left foot, hips stay in line with each other, keep reaching through right heel, 2, 1, and then lower bottom down, move the block to the side, foot to the floor. Arms up, legs strong, lifting ourselves back up to where we were, okay? And then place the foot on the floor, separate the knees, come back up into chair pose. Use your hands if you need to. Little bit of heat. Block is going to stay near the top of the mat. Take a breath. And then exhale, forward fold, stretch it out. Take the feet a little bit wider, hands on opposite elbows, and just sway a little side to side. Should feel a little release through the hamstrings and through the glutes. And when we start to strengthen hamstrings more, we actually find more flexibility in them. Inhale, release the elbows, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down, step back to plank. Chaturanga exhale, all the way down. Come onto the top of the feet, interlace the fingers behind the back, same as we did before. Locust pose, lifting up through the legs. Strengthening the back line of the body as our focus. Hands come down, tuck the toes, lift up to plank. Okay, take right foot away from the floor. And then carry it up with control, three-legged downward dog. Take a nice big breath here. Okay, look forward, grab your block, place it where your right hand would be, and then take your right hand either side. And then draw the knee to the nose, place right foot on top of your block. Okay, shuffle in if you need. And then slowly come up into a crescent. Take a nice big breath. The good news is there isn't much more time left, so there's only so much I can give you now. Sink into the hips. Feel more stretch through front of that left hip. Reach away with left heel. Take a big breath here. Bring the hands into heart center. Put the weight into the right foot and block. Pick up left foot. Hinge forward from the hips. Warrior three. So the block adds a bit more work. Okay, if you're on a soft block and it's too much, just pop the foot back down to the ground. Reach away with left heel, nice and strong. If you want to add more spice, bend left knee and just start to flex the heel of the foot up to the sky. Otherwise, stay still, leg can be straight or bent. Belly strong, whee, teacher's wobbling. One more breath. And then hands forward, soften right knee, land it back into crescent. Okay, take the hands down and then take that right leg back, three-legged downward dog. Big breath here. And then slowly release right foot to the ground. Make sure you take left block over to left hand. And then inhale, take that left leg up. Nice and strong here. Big, big breath. Okay, come forward to plank briefly. A different way of getting there, but we'll still get there. Knee to nose, place left foot onto the block. Stay on the ball of right foot. Come up into crescent second side. Nice and steady. Reach away with right heel. Check in with the belly. Corset of power in the center of our body. Switched on. Fingers up. Okay. All right, sinking down. Hands are going to come into heart center. Gazing forward, weight into left foot, pick up right foot. Hinging from the hips, reaching that right heel back. Chest forward, gaze forward. Those of you who want to add more challenge, you can bend the right knee, you can pulse, or you can keep the legs straight. Take a nice big breath here. One. Arms reach forward. Soften left knee. Land it back into crescent. Okay. Nice. Hands down. Step back to plank this time. Take the block to the side. You guys can still hear me. A piece fell off my mic. It's okay? All right. Chaturanga exhale. Inhale. This time choice of uplift. Chest forward, shoulders back. And then we come into downward facing dog. Hips nice and high. Shoulders away from the ears. Inhale again, pick up that right leg. Keep the hips in line, last little bit of strength. Come forward into a plank, keep the leg lifted. Draw the knee towards the nose. Come back to that left leg lifted, one-legged plank. And then slowly make your way to pigeon. So adjust the shin towards the top of the mat. Lower left leg down. Shin is really at the angle that you want it to be. Okay? Any gap between the bottom of the floor, place a block under right buttock. And then really sit up tall, take a breath. Open up the chest. And then keep the length in the body as you lower yourself down. Make a pillow with your arms for your head. Or your head might come all the way down to the ground. And this is just our opportunity to open outside of right hip. Okay, getting into the area that we have been strengthening and stabilizing all the way through this short time together. See if you can relax the shoulders. See if you can relax the jaw. See if you can relax the neck. Relax the space in between the eyebrows, around the edges of the eyes. 2 more breaths here. This is one of those shapes that if the glutes are feeling a little tight, you can hang out in for a little longer than we have time for today. Last big breath. It's always beneficial. And when you finish that big breath, just slowly work your way back up to your hands. Tuck left toes under and just step yourself back to downward facing dog, nice and simple. Lift the hips as your hands push the ground away, and then once you're there, inhale, left leg lifted, three-legged downward dog, hips in line with each other. Look forward, keep the legs straight and lifted, come into a one-legged plank. Okay, and then draw the knee in towards center. And then take the leg back, one-legged plank. And then come into pigeon. Adjust the left shin forward, just shuffle right leg down. Adjust the shin to the angle that suits your body best, nothing picture perfect about it. Block under the hip if you need to fill any gaps. And then take a big breath upright, okay? And on your exhale, keep the length in both sides of your waist and lower yourself down. And just check in if you need to be on forearms, if you need to come all the way down to the ground, if you need a pillow with your arms here. And this is your chance to breathe, to slow down. Check in how it feels from side to side. Left side is always my tighter side. So just trying to understand if one side is tighter for you, what movements do you do more of on one side than the other? And it can be how you carry a bag, how you cross your legs, how you stand. I'm terrible for standing on one side of my hip more than the other, effectively weakening my glutes' ability to stabilize my hips every time I'm there. And you can even practice standing on one leg, tree pose as you brush your teeth, as you wash the dishes, all of these little things that you can do to strengthen the hips throughout your day while you're making the coffee. 2 more breaths here. And then when your second breath is done, just slowly start to make your way back up to your hands. Tuck right toes under, lift the knee, step it back to downward facing dog. One big breath here. Use the hands to push the ground away, hips nice, stretch out through the back of the body. Thighs reach back. And then look forward, just slowly start to walk halfway, and then pause, bottom to the ground. Soles of the feet together are our last little movement. Soles of the feet together, knees out wide. Interlace the fingers. As you inhale, lengthen spine. As you exhale, fold forward. Okay? And while you're here, can you use the muscles that we've been working throughout the practice on the outer hip to help you to get more stretch through the inner thigh? And I finish with this shape because it's such a valuable shape to practice every day as well. Inner thigh release. We spend so much time sitting down and clenching, whether we realize or not, these thighs together. And it creates a whole lot of imbalance, and it has a tendency to help us to tilt that pelvic bowl forward more than it needs to as well. So just releasing here, 2 more breaths. We want to have strength and stability, but also the right level of mobility around the hips and lower back area for good health. When the second breath finishes, just roll yourself up vertebrae by vertebrae. Bring the hands under the knees. You have the choice to take a seated meditation or lie yourself down for a brief shavasana. If you're lying down, just make sure that the blocks are out of your way. Nothing is bothering you. And let the arms relax alongside the body, wherever feels comfortable in terms of width, and then just close your eyes. And if you're seated, just however feels comfortable for you to sit, cross legs or on your shins. And just let the eyelids gently start to close. Taking time to pause. And if you want to stay in your shavasana for longer, feel free to stay as long as you have time. And those of you finishing together with me can either stay lying down or just slowly start to bring a little movement into the legs. A full body stretch as the arms reach overhead. A gentle hugging of the knees into center, maybe a little massage of the spine along the way. Eventually, when you're ready, you'll roll to your side and then slowly come up to a seat. Remember, you can stay longer where you are if you want to. And let's just bring the hands together at heart center. Just take a moment to pause, to recognize this stillness, to recognize our practice, and to have gratitude for the ability to move our bodies in this free, healthy way that we can. Just bowing our head to our hands to close the practice. Namaste.